of Directors, Mountain House Community Service District Board of Directors here. Celeste Farron is our current president. Celeste, you want to wave your hand for anyone who might not know who you are? We have Jim Lamb, this tall gentleman in the gray shirt, and we're Director Bernice Tingle. And Bernice, where did you go? She's over there with the coffee. Director Sue is not able to be with us tonight, nor has Director Gutierrez been able to come. And you'll meet some of the other, what I would call officials as we go through the meeting. I'm going to allow Superintendent Nicholas to introduce his board when he gets up to talk. And I'd like to introduce real quickly some of the staff from Mountain House Community Services District, for those of you who don't know who they are. I'm Jan McClintock, I'm the General Director. And over here in the jacket, Harpal. Harpal, you want to wave to everybody? Harpal is our operations and maintenance person. Angel Lamb, you want to wave to everybody? Angel is our events and parks and recreation person. You've seen a lot of new recreation programs starting to come up. We're real excited about the work she has brought. Mary, you want to wave your hand? Mary's the person that if you call to Mountain House Community Services District, normally answers the phone. She can help you with utility bill questions. If you don't call the 800 number, she can help you with all kinds of things. Director Gutierrez just walked in. So he's the one that gets embarrassed for being late tonight. It was Director Lamb last time. Okay. Nicole Adamo, you want to raise your hand? She is our clerk of the board. If you have questions about practices and procedures and records requests, those types of things, that's for Nicole. Nader, you want to raise your hand? Nader is our engineer extraordinaire, and so he does all of the engineering for the district. And Doug Louie. Doug is new to us. Want to raise your hand, Doug? Doug works with coordinating with a lot of our contractors. Those of you who were here last time met Cedric. Cedric, you want to raise your hand? Cedric is doing inspections for us as well as code enforcement. Just walking in from the door is Morgan Gruber. Morgan is our community services director, and he does any kind of permitting, that type of thing, as you come in to the board. Cedric and Angel both report to Mr. Gruber. And Ahmad, you're standing, you want to raise your hand? Ahmad works with Nader. He is also a district engineer. We have Karen Schulten, she's our CPA. And where's Gay? Is Gay here? Gay, she's our finance director. And who else is here? Danae, you're right. Okay. Danae is over there, and Danae does all of our accounts payable and a lot of our bookkeeping and stuff. So that introduces to you pretty much up behind the little monitor here is Glenda. She is our jack of all trades. We couldn't do without her. She helps us with all kinds of things in the office. And so there's only about 2 people missing this evening, and that is your entire Mountain House Community Services District staff. We are what's called a contract for services district, so we contract for most of the work that we have done here within Mountain House. So that is all of the people that actually work for the district, with I think 2 exceptions, that are off on vacation for this time of year. So without much further ado, I'm going to introduce, you want to bring up the next one? I'm going to introduce to you Director Farron, and she's going to say a few words.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Can I have a show of hands to see how many people are from Wickland? Thank you. How about Bethany? Altamont? And Cuesta. And of all the people that are here tonight, is this your first meeting? Welcome to Mountain House. We're glad to have you, and we hope that you're enjoying it as much as we are. Mountain House is a community where your roots will go down very quick. We're very well connected, kind of with the mentality of it takes a village, not just to raise the kids, but to get by. So I was going to introduce our board members, but that has been taken care of. A couple things I wanted to touch base on tonight. I'm very excited about what we're bringing to the meeting tonight. We had a couple years ago, one of the engineers that contributed to the design and the construction of our creek park put together a video of its design and its uses before he retired, and he left us with that video, and we'll be going into that a bit tonight. There are a couple things. One of the things that, as new people that are here tonight, you know, and as everybody else knows, you have bought in and moved in to a master plan community. With our master plans, it keeps aesthetically, it keeps us, keeps it looking beautiful, and we have CCNRs to keep, you know, broken cars off the streets and things jacked up on jacked up on, what do they call it?
Cinder blocks.
Cinder blocks, yes, thank you. One of the things in our master plan as well is our creek park and the video that you'll be seeing tonight. And this time of year is a particularly beautiful time to take a walk around the creek for anyone that's new or that hasn't done it for a while. The autumn colors are beautiful, so if you have the time to take a stroll around, this is a really nice time of year to do it. Along the creek park and wetlands, there are 3 uses for the creek park and the wetlands: to protect wildlife and habitat, for drainage, and for flood control, and for limited recreational use. We are starting an awareness campaign because when a lot of new people, we have an influx of new people in the community. When a lot of new people move into the community, they may not see some of the signs that are posted or are unaware that it's protected. So with an awareness campaign, we hope to get word out there to remind people that not to trespass down into the protected areas. Along the creek path, you will see signs like this periodically that say sensitive creek habitat. Please stay on the paths and designated areas, and then it indicates no hunting, no motorcycling, that types of things that we don't want to occur around there. We will be looking at the video later this evening on the creek path. A couple other things I wanted to touch base on real quick. I don't want to take too much time. Is we are having a neighborhood watch meeting on December 3rd, and perhaps the sheriff's, Philip George, you may be going into that, on December 3rd in this CSD Mike Forbes McGrew boardroom. If anybody's interested in getting involved with their community, this is a great way to get involved with your community. If you choose not to, I would recommend that if anybody sees anything suspicious or anyone suspicious or suspicious activity, please pick up the phone and call our sheriffs. Nothing is too silly to call in. Recently when something happened, people were on Facebook talking about things that they kind of thought were suspicious after the fact, and it all tied in, and they were all the same people that were trying to burglarize one of our neighbors. So even if you just think it doesn't feel right, call it in and let the police decide whether it's substantial or not. We can keep them busy rather than writing us tickets. I didn't get one. But that's all I have this evening. Again, thank you to everybody for taking time out of your schedules tonight. I do want to say thank you to our elected officials for coming tonight. Susan Eggman is here. We love that you're here in person, and we do appreciate when you send your representatives. Scott Tyrell, we're glad that you're here. We look forward to when Bob can attend in person. And Sheriff Steve Moore, we're very glad that you can be here as well. I don't know if we have any other elected officials represented here this evening. So if I missed you, I apologize, but we're very glad that you're here. Thank you.
Is our very well-known new superintendent. He really doesn't need much of an introduction, but for those of you who don't know him, Superintendent Nicholas.
Good evening. It's my pleasure tonight to talk to you a little bit about an update on our strategic plan that was begun work on last spring. So before we get going, there are a couple of acknowledgments and some congratulations that we need to pass out. But before I begin, I would like to acknowledge 2 people from the district, our board member, David Pombo, and and our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Cush-Gill. So when I spoke earlier this year, I just want to keep bringing this up because it's a source of pride for all of us, and it's something that we need to be talking about, sharing with our kids, sharing with our neighbors, sharing in Tracy grocery stores and in the Bay Area, is Lambersville Unified School District has the highest API score as a district of any unified school district in San Joaquin County. When you build a track record and a legacy of high achievement, then you need to start talking about it because kids start to expect that of themselves, and everybody grows along with it. So I want to keep bringing that up. I know Mr. Pombo would tell you that it comes up at board meetings in our district office here and there, but it's a source of pride for all of us. The second thing is it was recently announced that Bethany Elementary School and Lambersville Elementary School were the only schools in San Joaquin County named as nominees for the California Distinguished School Award, which is a very prestigious honor. There's a process they go through, but California Distinguished Schools, there are none that are going out there except for those here in Lambersville Unified, which is our elementary school in Lambersville and our elementary school here in Bethany. So we should acknowledge that. So I don't know if you heard about it, but on Saturday there was a shindig over at the high school, and we had approximately 1,000 people show up and go on a sneak peek tour, sponsored by Turner Construction and run through our excellent leadership of our high school principal Ben Faubert, his assistant Don Edwards, and staff here in our district. But it was a pretty exciting event. People got to tour the campus, walk through buildings, and it was really a beautiful day. But it was also an opportunity to celebrate, which is a spectacular high school that's coming together beautifully. And I would also like to finally announce that the construction projects, both at Altamont Elementary School and Mountain House High School, are on pace, hitting their timelines, and everything is running smoothly. So kudos to the folks that are building it, and kudos to the board of our district that had the foresight to build a beautiful high school campus and support our growing infrastructure for elementary schools. So last spring, a concerted effort to reach out to the community, all stakeholders, our community members, teachers, students, parents, families, and find out what is it exactly we're looking to do over the next 5 to 10 years in Lambersville Unified to build on what we already know, as I can say again, as the highest performing school district in San Joaquin County, is a strategic plan, a really specific set of items and details about what we're going to do to take us from where we are now to where we're going. And what the community was very clear about is they wanted 2 specific things. They wanted to have their kids go to a nurturing environment where everybody knows everybody's name, but they also want it to be a rigorous instructional and academic environment to prepare the kids to be competitive in a global information economy, and so that all the kids as they move up through our system have every opportunity to expand their individual experience and their collective community experience as members of Mountain House or Lambersville Unified. So we have been working on what's a very simple structure to provide systems to our district to make sure that we are meeting the expectations of our community. And so we have broken it down into 4 specific areas called focus, alignment, expectations, and opportunities. Focus meaning we need to identify across the district benchmarks that we want our kids to accomplish so we know which kids are on pace and which kids have fallen behind so we can catch them up. And so we established 1 for 1st graders, 1 for 4th graders, 1 for 8th graders, 1 for 12th graders, and finally for identified groups of kids who have fallen behind, a way to identify them statistically across the district so the district can move forward and support their needs. And so, in doing that and finishing up the background work on the strategic plan, it has been broken down into 5 areas of concentration: student achievement, district culture and leadership, fiscal strength, parent and community relationships, and finally 21st century skills and college and career readiness. That everything we focus on as a district should fall within one of these 5 pillars, because this is what the community, our stakeholders, our staff, and our leadership expect of us. And so in these 5 areas, as the strategic plan rolls out and starts to be implemented, which will be board approved on December 11th, will fall within those 5 areas. So you can run into a teacher or a principal or a superintendent or a board member, and you can ask a specific question. How are you doing with the 5 areas of concentration? How's our fiscal strength? Are our kids being 21st century skill prepared? And we should be able to have an answer. And so that's the idea, is by continually to communicate to the community, these are the areas that we're striving to achieve excellence for every child, and using the resources and the human capital that we have in the district, we'll be able to meet our measurables, which are those ones I referenced earlier in the 1st, 4th, 8th, 12th grade. And so, moving forward, what we're working on presently at our school sites, and this is a continuing process, we have my initiatives, which support the strategic plan and the direction of our school board. So we call it walking and talking instruction, but what we really mean by that is, what is it we're asking ourselves to do to educate our kids, and how do we go about having a conversation about what's working and what's not working. And so when we walk classrooms, whether it's administrators or district office folks or teachers walking teachers' classroom, we really have a specific conversation, a targeted conversation about, are our students engaged? Are we explaining clearly what the kids are learning? And do we know if they're learning it while we're teaching it? The second one is, again, the measurables. But in order to measure something, you have to have a system in place. So our board approved earlier this year a computer-based assessment system called Measures of Academic Progress, in which all of our students, K-8, are going to go through a process ultimately 3 times a year where we get a reading, math, and language arts score to determine who's reading at grade level, who are progressing in their math skills, because again, we have these benchmarks, 1, 4, 8, 12, that we have to meet, or we have to go back and address individual students' needs that have fallen behind. A term of art in education that's really talked about a lot is called a professional learning community and data teams. What I'll say about this is, people in all systems have to talk. Professional learning communities is education's way of creating specific, focused conversations about kids and learning and teaching and instruction built around data, so that systemically across all of our schools and across our district, we can talk about how we are meeting the needs of our kids. So that's one of the initiatives that we've been working on in the previous year and this year and going forward. And finally, the new assessment that begins in spring of 2015, the Common Core State Assessments, is a very different test. We're moving from multiple choice tests to computer-based, uploaded tests of multiple curricular areas. And we're doing so very rapidly. And I can also say that with not all the direction included, so we have some work to kind of figure some things out. But the manner in which as a district we're going to go forward is called rigorous curriculum design. And we're going to design Common Core curriculum facilitated with an outside consultant to have our teachers design curriculum to meet the Common Core needs, but also because our teachers know our kids the best. So the goal of all of this is, again, to support the strategic plan, but it really comes down to, are we preparing our kids with 21st century skills? And each step along the way, in each grade level, is each teacher playing their role in making our kids college and career ready. So in order to prepare for a computer adaptive uploaded assessment that's coming at warp speed, you have to look at your infrastructure. So one of the big initiatives in the investment of our state dollars and some of our bond dollars and some of our federal dollars is to prepare our kids technologically with the tools they need. So we've added Wi-Fi to all of our elementary schools, which is important because the schools presently only have one standalone lab with 32 computers. This school here has 750 kids. Imagine how long it would take them to go through and take a reading test and a math test at times 750 kids over a short window for an assessment period. So, inspired by some money that came from Sacramento, and we'd like to inspire Assemblywoman Eggman to keep that money coming, we are going to take that money and, with our board's direction, purchase 875 laptop Chromebooks to create a mini lab in each of our classrooms. 7 computers in the 4th grade through 8th, and 8 computers in the K3, so that there can be many computer labs for students to do strategic support, but more importantly that we are going to get our kids computer ready across the board with our systems so that they can not only do well on the test, which is important on some levels, but more importantly that they're getting the college career 21st century skills that we're required to deliver. And then finally, some of the other things that we're doing, we need to bring in some technology to put on those computers that takes our most advanced kids and our kids that are struggling and give them something that challenges them to either close an achievement gap or expand and enrich their educational experience, and do so by using technology. So with the support of the state and the money that came down, we're going to be able to create mini labs in our own all K classrooms, and also prepare our kids for Mountain House High School, which is going to be one of the most technologically driven, forward-thinking, progressive educational programs in the state. Because we're going to do a one-to-one initiative where our curriculum is going to be delivered via the internet and move away from an old technology called textbooks. So there's more to explain to the community about that, but that's where we're moving. But technology is here in Lambersville Unified, and we're slowly but surely building an infrastructure and providing our teachers that time not to drive them completely crazy with rapid pace of change, but also get ready for the kids. And so finally, the question for the community is, are we preparing in Lambersville Unified to be prepared for the Common Core state standards? And the answer is unequivocally yes. So we're starting a real and specific conversation and calibrating about what is our instructional expectation of ourselves across the district, and how is our instruction impacting our students. Second, we're building on systems that work where teachers support each other, principals and teachers work as teams. The district works with teachers and principals as a team, and the district works as a community. And in doing so, we call those PLCs and data teams, but that's how you impact instruction as a system and as a community. We're also going back to that idea of focus and alignment of our programs, practices, procedures, and policies based on the 5 areas of concentration from our strategic plan. And finally, we're building a district management team of all of our educational leaders who are going to execute the strategic plan and successfully deliver on the goals stated, which are, again, going back to, there's one for 1st grade, there's one for 4th, there's one for 8th, and there's one for 12th. And there's one in there to make sure any kids that are falling behind, we have a way and mechanism to get them to bring forward. So my final slide is to just say this is a multi-year effort. It's going to take a systemic transformation in our district, especially as we grow from a K-8 to a K-12 district. And finally, our strategic plan is the guide. So you can follow our progress not only in what we talk about, but you can follow it along with that we benchmark out our strategic plan over the next few years. So we're up to the challenge, and we're doing this so that we can identify what's working in our district and what's not working, and we can make those adjustments. And finally, we're going to use data to tell every child's story about what they're learning and what they need help with, and our job at every level, starting in pre-K all the way through their graduation of high school and into college, is to make sure our kids are college and career ready. And with that, I conclude my statement for this evening.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Nicholas.